cheers, but nothing is really required of him. There's no sacrifice that he has to make. And the truth is, as excited as he seems to be about his team and these individuals, his love and his passion for this team will fade if they start having a bad losing year. And after 2 or 3 bad losing years, they will just quit supporting that team and find somebody else to support. It's the woman who never misses the celebrity news shows. She always picks up the latest edition of People magazine. She's a huge fan of some actress, and whoever that actress might be, the latest Hollywood sensation. This woman not only knows every movie that this actress has been in, she knows what high school the actress went to, she knows the birthday of the actress, she knows the name of her boyfriend. She even knows what color the actress's hair really is. She knows everything there is to know, but she doesn't know the actress. She's a huge fan, but she's just a fan. She's an enthusiastic admirer. I think Jesus has a lot of fans today. Amen. Fans who cheer for him when things are going well, but who walk away when it's a difficult season. Fans who sit safely in the stands cheering, but they know nothing of the sacrifices, pain of being on the field. Fans of Jesus who know all about him, but they don't know him. Do you understand there's a difference in knowing about him and knowing him?
Amen.
Fans oftentimes confuse their admiration for devotion. They mistake their knowledge of Jesus for intimacy with Jesus. Fans assume that their good intentions make up for their uninterested faith. When it comes time for us to stand before God and give an account of our lives, I'm not sure, I am sure, let me rephrase that. He's not going to ask us how many Bibles that we have. He's not going to ask us how many commentaries we had about him and on him. It's not one of the things that he's going to ask us. But what he's going to ask us and what is going to be required of us is, what did we do with what we learned about him from those commentaries and from those Bibles? Did we put it into practice? Or did we just preach it? Jesus is not, and I don't believe has ever been interested in having fans. When he defines the kind of relationship that he wants with us, enthusiastic admirer is not an option. I'm afraid that many of our churches have gone from being sanctuaries to becoming stadiums for fans.
Amen.
A place where every week all the fans come to the stadium, where they cheer for Jesus, but they have no true interest in following him. The biggest threat to the church today is fans who call themselves Christian but aren't actually interested in following Christ. They want to be as close to Jesus to get all the benefits, like the disciples, the 5,000, but not so close that it requires anything of them. I told you I was going to challenge you. And since this is such an enthusiastic message this morning, I'm going to close it here pretty quickly before you get up and walk out. Now let me ask a couple of questions before I bring it to a close. What are the measurements that you use to define your relationship with Christ? Because I'm sure that some of you have been mulling this over in your mind and you've asked yourself, am I following Christ? And you've answered the question in your own mind and you've used certain standards to answer that question. Many fans mistakenly identify themselves as followers of Christ by cultural comparisons. They look at the commitment level of others In other words, I do as much and I'm as this as brother so-and-so or sister so-and-so. Eventually, or essentially, we grade our relationship with Jesus on the curve. Anybody ever had a grade in school where it was graded on the curve? Always made me. Always made me. So that's what we try to do. We try to grade our relationship with Jesus on the curve. And as long as I'm more spiritual than the next person, they figure everything's okay. Have you ever noticed that when we compare ourselves with others and our relationship with Christ, we almost always put ourselves up against those that are spiritually weak? Be honest with yourself. Don't give me a shake of the head or a nod or anything. But answer it in your own mind. We've all done it. I'm as good as so-and-so. But have you ever picked out who you consider to be the most spiritual or the person that you consider to be the closest to God in the church? And I'm not being facetious here. We always have somebody in the church who we think, if anybody's going to heaven, it's brother or sister so-and-so. We all know who they are and were. But that's not who we pick and choose to grade ourselves and compare ourselves with. Is it? Don't answer me. Yes, but no, it's not even supposed to be. That would help. The problem is that with this measuring technique that's in our own minds, we can always find somebody that's weaker than we are. Always. We do it in the job force, in the workforce. Well, I may not be the best worker, but I'm certainly not the worst. They didn't hire you as being second worst. They hired you to be the best you could be. Christ accepted you into His kingdom, into His work, so you could be the best that you could be for Him, not the second weakest in the church. Another measurement that we use is this religious ruler. In other words, we point to our observance of religious rules and regulations and rituals as evidence that we're really followers of Christ. I mean, after all, would a fan just go to church every weekend and put money in the offering and volunteer to go to the nursery with a bunch of brats? And listen to Christian radio? Of course I'm a follower. You think I'm doing this for nothing? That's the logic we use. Yes, it's funny, but the truth is, it's the truth. We go to church and we put money in the offering and we volunteer for this and we volunteer for that. Why? If the truth be told, it's so we can see what we can get out of it. Lord, you need to bless me because I put up with that bunch of youngins in nursery and they were so bad today. Lord, I'm going to give an extra $5 this week in the offering. What you going to bless me back? I'm a good Bible preacher. But there are some other ways that we determine if we are followers or not. Denominational measurements. Well, I go to a PH church. I go to a full gospel church. I don't go to Baptist or Methodist or whatever. Nowhere do I see that God's going to ask your denomination when it's time to go through the gates. I don't see that. I think there's going to be some from every denomination. I think there's going to be some from every denomination that don't make it. He's not going to ask us our family heritage. It doesn't matter if grandmama or great-grandmama or great-great-grandmama or papa built the church and have been there for ever so many years and they've been the backbone of the church. It doesn't matter. It's what is your relationship with Him. Can't get on grandmama and grandpa's coattails. It won't work. It's not going to matter what kind of biblical knowledge you have if you don't apply that biblical knowledge, as I told you earlier. This thing didn't come before I get thrown out. And this is just sermon 1. Obey, I hear it, obey. But the real question is this: how does Jesus define what it means to follow him? And whatever measurements that he gives is the one that we should use and compare ourselves against. What are the measurements that he gives us? How is he going to measure us? Well, there's always somebody in the church judging me, preacher. Probably you, preacher. I'm not judging you. No, I'm not going to lie to you. I stand up here and I look and I really think God expects a little more out of so-and-so. Because you've been given more than so-and-so. And I'm not judging you because God expects more out of me. I told you, this series, I've already been challenged. I've already been humbled. And it doesn't matter how long you've been serving God. I guarantee you, if you will allow God to minister to you, you will be humbled and you will be challenged. The Gospels record many examples of people having to define their relationship with Him. They had that defining relationship talk with Christ. In each of these cases, the people found themselves in a position where they had to ask themselves the question, am I a fan or am I a follower? They had to answer that question. And as we're going to see in the next few weeks, some of the examples that we read to you are shown to be true followers of Christ. And others will be revealed as nothing more than enthusiastic admirers. Are you a follower of Jesus this morning? I'm letting you out early. It's 20 minutes after 11. It has nothing to do with the fact that we have a lot of work to do afterwards. But I want you to take the next few minutes around this altar and I want you to ask yourself, am I a follower of Jesus? But what I want you to also add to that is, Lord, let me know if I am or if I'm